guys, welcome to the NextGen podcast. I'm Raj, a sophomore at Deepron.
I'm Prithvish, a sophomore at Deepron, and today we have Ms. Lenski. Ms. Lenski, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Ms. Lenski. I've been working here at Deepron for 4 years. I've been teaching for 10. I'm originally from New York. I just had my first baby last year. His name is Charlie. A little bit about me, some things I enjoy. I'm from New York originally, so I love traveling back and forth to see family up there. I love the beach. I love swimming. I love summertime. I like, as far as Richmond, I like the music scene here. We like to take the baby out on the weekends to listen to music, and that's kind of a little bit about me and the things I enjoy.
A little icebreaker. Would you rather go to a beach or the mountains?
Oh, beach easily. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah. I would rather do a weekend in the mountains, but I'd rather like live at the beach. Yeah, for sure. I don't like bugs. I don't like the cold. I'm not really a hiker. I'm not really an outdoors person unless I'm in water. Yeah, beach, hardcore.
I think that might be because you're from New York.
Yeah, potentially. I'm from Long Island, so it is an island. I know we're not known for our beaches up in New York, but we actually have decent islands. They're all like they're parks and state parks or whatever. So they're not really built up. They're actually really pristine. So yeah, people up there in the summertime. A lot of people have boats. You can go walking by the lighthouses and stuff. So yeah, that's probably where that came from.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the next question. So, what exactly do you do in your job right now, and what field of STEM do you work in right now?
Yeah, I teach psychology here at Deepron. So psychology, as we know, it kind of bridges the gap between science curriculums and social sciences. So I have the privilege of teaching a course that offers both. I do love teaching psychology. I love learning about the brain and how it works. I will say teaching psychology has made me a more compassionate or empathetic teacher. I found I'm a lot more patient with students, and I see them as the whole person that they are, and I take into account things that might be going on in their daily life or at home. So I would say psychology has helped me grow as an educator as well.
When did you realize you wanted to go into psychology?
As silly as it sounds, I'm gonna take you back 20 years, a time when I was in high school. It's been a little while. I would say taking electives in high school. I took a bunch of different classes that made me a little bit more well-rounded. And I really liked psychology when I took it in high school. And then when I went to college, you take all your gen ed classes and things like that. And I found myself, even though I was getting a well-rounded education, I was still gravitating towards those psychology courses. And that's when I realized maybe this is something I should really consider majoring in.
Was there any specific moment or individual that made you want to go into this?
Yeah, I liked my psych teacher was awesome, Mr. Henderson. I remember his name. I don't remember a ton of teachers from high school, but I do remember Mr. Henderson and Mr. Bach because they were both history teachers and they shared a classroom, and they were just really cool and they were down to earth. You could tell they really liked what they were doing. Like they wanted to be there, and they liked what they were teaching, and they liked being teachers, and they liked their students. And I would say that pushed me in that direction.
So, how do you use STEM in your current job?
In my current job, I use it all the time. Obviously, there's a push towards using technology and integrating that in your lessons. As you can tell by this giant board they put in my room this year. But yeah, I use it all the time. I don't know if this is something I should talk about, but like AI, honestly, I know we're a little scared of it sometimes, but AI it's really helpful even with teaching. It's helped me with making lesson plans and making test questions. And even if it's not perfect, it gives you that framework, and then you can go in and then you can edit it to make it more reflective of what you want it to be. So I've been using that a lot more than I ever thought I would. When I first heard AI, I was a little bit weary and a little bit nervous. But it's just been so helpful with just creating tests and lessons and just kind of expediting and making my life simpler. So tasks that would have taken me an hour, I can now probably do in 20 minutes. So I definitely been using that a lot in the classroom.
Do you find it cons using AI?
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes when you have questions made, they don't reflect the curriculum like you need it to, or sometimes it's just bananas questions that they come up with. But that's what I'm saying. It's a good framework, and then I can go in and I can tweak it and make that more aligned to what I need it to be. So there's definitely cons. Yeah, you can't totally rely on it. You can't be like, hey, make a 10-question quiz on this paragraph, and then just put that out there and think that's a sufficient job. You're still a teacher. You still have to look it over and tweak it the way you need to. So definitely cons. I think also cons with AI is not being able to decipher what is AI and what's not. I've fallen prey to it, like even on like social media, like scrolling on Instagram and seeing an image and being like, they did what? And then realizing it's a completely fake story with fake illustration. So definitely some pros and cons with AI, for sure.
Do you think students should use AI?
I feel like you're trying to get me in trouble with that question. I think you guys should rely more on your own brains and your own creativity and your own abilities. And one problem I do see with AI is that people are not relying on themselves the way that they should be, or like their self-confidence is a little shaken, so AI is something they feel like they can use or fall. I think it definitely has some things that can help you, like if you're making like an outline for something or brainstorming, I think AI can help get you started. But I don't want you guys to fall too into that pattern, if that makes sense.
So like use AI for your own advantage. Don't like let AI use you. So
yeah, I love that. That should be the motto for AI. Yeah, use it like for the little things you need it for, but don't let it use you, because that's going to take away from your abilities, and you're never going to develop those skills if you're relying on a computer to do it for you all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and high school is kind of when you're building those skills, so you just have to be careful. Yeah.
Okay. So next question. How do you impact the community around you?
Well, as a teacher, I do have the privilege of doing this every day. I work with students from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life, and it's my duty as a teacher to help students achieve their goals. And I don't really take that lightly. I do think it is a privilege that I do have that opportunity. I find this job incredibly fulfilling, and it does give you that community feeling as well. I don't live in Glen Allen, but I feel like I have a community here where I teach, and then a community where I live, which is I live by Atley, up that way. I've taught in 3 different states, and I've taught students from all different backgrounds, all different socioeconomic levels, and I like helping them get to those goals that they set forth. And that's different for each student. For some students, it's like, I want to get all A's and I want to get all 5s on my AP exams. For some students, it's like, hey, I just really need to pass and graduate high school. And like, if I grow from a 50 average to a D+, like that's enough for them. So teaching gives me that ability to impact the students in these communities, and I'm grateful for it. Even on hard days, I find it easy to remind myself how lucky I am to have the privilege to be interacting with people in the community and know that I'm doing good.
Yeah, I'm actually like, although I don't take your class, I've heard a lot of like my friends, like they really like your class. They even said like they might even go to psychology because of this.
Really? Oh, I'm very flattered by that. Yeah, I love what I do, and if I ever lose that passion, I think I have to worry if this is the right profession for me any longer. I think if I ever that light is dimmed and I'm not happy coming here every day, or at least the majority of the days, then maybe I need to look elsewhere for work. And right now, I love what I do, and I hope that I keep that passion, and I hope that students like my class. Like, you don't have to love psych, you don't have to love my teaching style, but I just don't want to be the class you like dread or hate the most, or like feel like you can't do or you struggle with. So that's my main goal.
Yeah, so like apart from like this, what else do you find as rewarding? Like apart from like helping out your students?
Just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, outside of work, things that I find rewarding. As corny as it sounds, like it's rewarding to me. I'm older than you guys. Like rewarding things to me is like spending time with family. It's watching growth in the classroom with my students, but also seeing growth at home with my son. And seeing all those changes. It's seeing like my family, my cousins and my parents and the grandparents interacting with him and my husband, and watching us all grow together as a unit. I think that's something that I find pretty great.
Like another question, like how do you see psychology in your daily life? Not in like school.
Oh, in my daily life?
Yeah.
I mean, I see it all over the place. Psychology is so applicable. I think sometimes people sleep on that. They think psychology, they think clinical psych and diagnosing people and, coming up with, ways to help people cope better. But psychology is everywhere. Psychology, it's in the workforce. You can do psychology in like the private sector, where you're finding out what are strategies we can use to make our employees happier or to boost morale and make things better. You see psychology used in the tech sector too, like with technology, making machines and computers or cell phones or watches, whatever it is, making those user friendly, making them more intuitive. But there's psychology that goes into all that. So it's not so much as clinical psych or therapy, like it tends to get put in that box. There's so many different ways that I see it out in the world. Even walking into stores, like when you walk into like a supermarket or like a Target or something like that, those stores are structured in such a way that, you know, they're trying to get you to shop to spend money, right? Those bright lights, that music that they play, like all of that is really intentional. Like putting like the cheap stuff up front so like you grab stuff as you're walking in. So if you look, you can see psychology, I would say, in almost every area of your life in some way or some shape. Oh, it is, yeah. At the end of the year, we do a project and you can pick any topic you want from psychology, and I have a group of girls, they did the psychology of Target. So that's why that comes to mind so quickly, because I fall prey to it all the time. Like I like to say I'm above it, I know what you're doing with those bright lights and like where you put things, and yet here I am, I go in there and I come out with like 20 things more than I need, you know?
I actually like read an article on that, how they use it in IKEA, that you purposely get lost and start finding a bunch of stuff.
Yes, like so there is someone with a psychology background that's coming up with that stuff, you know what I mean? And I think psychology, even in like your daily life, and even if you don't pursue something like a psych major or something like that, I think it is something of value if you were to get into like the private sector or something like that. I had a student back in the day, and his mom would come to all the conferences. She was great, she was very hands-on. And she worked at a big baking company, and she said that she was on the tech side of it, and that she loved hiring people with a psychology background. So she's a tech person, but she likes hiring people with psych because she feels like they're a lot more well-rounded, they understand people better, like they're really good when it comes to like socializing and having empathy and all those kind of cues like that. So I do think you can find it everywhere.
Just like another reason to go to psychology.
I know that's what it sounds. I'm not pushing you guys, but yeah, I mean, it's just cool. It's just interesting to me.
So do you have any like other advice for like the viewers?
For people who want to like go into STEM or psychology?
Yeah, I would say just always feed your curiosity. I really do think for your generation, you guys are so smart. And I'm not just saying that, I truly think you are. Because you just have all this information at your disposal and at your fingertips. And right, the biggest thing in life is wasted talent and not pursuing things that you're passionate about. So my biggest piece of advice would be to stay curious. You know, when we talk about, some days are really dense in this class. I mean, which is in my course right now. There are some days it's like a lot of content, and it might be something that you don't find interesting, maybe even boring. But I hope that, you know, if there was like one thing that stood out to you, and you have more questions about it, that when you leave the room, that you look more into it. You know, we were talking about the eye the other day, and someone asked about like how laser surgery works, and I'm like, I don't really know the specifics of that. And that student, I hope that they went out and they looked into that. So I would say stay curious, use the technology that you have to find answers, to dig deeper, and that would probably be my biggest piece of advice. Yeah, and you know, like I said, the sky's the limit, I think, for your generation, which is cool.
Any closing remarks?
No, I think even you guys taking the initiative to do this today and to come talk to me and to really be interested in what I have to say about STEM, it's kind of humbling. So I appreciate you guys coming here and talking to me about it today.
Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Lenski, for your time.